So, I have my journals and I have my notebooks. But now this year, I added my own planner, and you can find it in hardcover or spiral. And it's just pretty much, I say, a conversation with yourself
I
of
love
like,
it.
how do you want the month to go? So you have your appointments, your reminders, quote of the month, a goals, task, and then you have a daily tracker of it, like your moods, what you're grateful for, your to-do list, and then whatever you want to put in, you have a blank space. And then at the end of the month, you end up with your accomplishments, what you're proud of, what made you happy, what do you need to improve. So like I said, it's just like a conversation with yourself through the month, and then you have it for tracking. So right now you can only order through me, but you can check out my other products at lifewithfrancy.com/shop.
Well,
Hello, welcome to Life with Francy Podcast, a place where you will find all kinds of conversation like mental health, self-love, self-care, trauma, hobbies, and more. With this podcast, I want to create a place where we support one another in business and personal life. Hope you enjoy this episode. Now, let's get the show started. This conversation was thanks to Podmatch, an amazing community for podcast hosts and podcast guests to have amazing collaborations like this one, and then an amazing supported community as well. They offer tools and resources. And now on today's episode, I have the pleasure to talk to Rick Koenig, and who embarked on a remarkable journey at the early age of 4 when he began his martial arts training. Growing up in New Jersey, Rick has a unique upbringing as a father-owned pizzeria, of course. I mean, come on, in the East Coast, I'm loving it. I can't wait to where they actively participated in running and working. In later years, Rick transitioned into a world of security, working at nightclubs in both Philadelphia and New Jersey. During this time, Rick had the opportunity to cross paths with notable figures like Paul White II, and he also provided security for legendary individuals like Mike Tyson and Dennis Rodman. So let's get to know Rick. Welcome, Rick, to the show. Tell us, what is life with you?
everything's great, Francie. Thank you for having me first and foremost. Like I said, I figured it'd be a nice little fit, and I checked out some of your material, and it's really I like it. So yeah, I'm ready to rock and roll.
Thank you. Oh, I'm so excited for this conversation. Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about your story? Sounds exciting.
I mean, again, if you want to start out from the beginning, one of my first real memories of childhood was when I turned 4 years of age. At 4 years of age, I was prior to that, kind of an unruly kid, a lot of anger issues, getting in trouble, and things of that nature. Got kicked out of preschool just because of my violent behavior. And I just wouldn't put up with anything. And my parents really were lost. So on June 27th, 1972, they enrolled me in my first karate class. And I remember that because that was my birthday. You had to be 4 years of age. And my very first class, my instructor broke my nose. I was 4 years of age, 4 years of
Wow.
age. And honestly, I kind of liked it. So it was one of those deals. I came back the next day and my sensei looked at me and he's like, "Kid, you're back." And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Thought I would never see you again after that." And he didn't do it. I mean, he purposely hit me, but he wasn't thinking that he was going to break my nose, which happened. My eyes were black. And yeah, ever since then, I mean, I've been on and off with martial arts for 51 years. 51
Wow.
years doing martial arts. And honestly, without it, I'd probably still be back in prison or I'd be dead. So it helped me a lot with my discipline, and I definitely needed it.
Yeah,
so
I was gonna say the tools and resources that comes with it.
yeah, it definitely, like I said, if it wasn't for martial arts, then I'd probably be still in prison, and I say still because I wasn't, and or like I said, I'd be dead.
Okay, so you go through your stuff and anger. I say, and I can relate to anger because, like, I have a friend of mine that her daughter, I can see a lot of myself in her. And I'm like, girl, you need to put her on something physical because she needs to get that anger out. She needs to be active. She needs to be punching something, but as well as the discipline, because it's not just about getting the anger out, it's having discipline and structure.
Yeah, learning how to channel your anger into something that's positive instead of something that's negative.
And
Absolutely.
and then so when do you turn things around to like help out others?
Well, like I said, that went on. I mean, I got involved with boxing. I got into Muay Thai. Just by being a tough individual, that's how the whole nightclub thing started. But if I want to fast forward, I started really channeling that in to being positive when I started teaching classes. I started becoming an instructor, and I've been instructing now. I would say for the last, well, I would say at least 25 plus years that I've been on and on as a teacher for martial arts. When I moved out here in Branson, I opened up my own school. I had one in New Jersey where, see, Brazilian, I was a second degree in Taekwondo. I got my first black belt when I was 7. I became a second degree at 12, and that's when I started to further my martial art career.
Holy
I
moly,
fell into
wow.
Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, which is getting very popular, especially with the UFC. I got involved with that back in 88, 89. And it was still kind of unknown back then. And I fell in love with it. And when I moved out here to Branson, Missouri, there was nothing out here. There really wasn't. There was no structure. There was a couple of karate schools, but at that point in time, I moved on to different disciplines where I still wanted to be a student. I didn't really necessarily want to be an instructor, but I was kind of forced into doing it. And I mean, I have no regrets at all. It helped me because when you teach, you learn twice as much,
Yep.
whatever it is. You know, you're going to learn twice as much if you're a teacher. And I started a school, and it was a little rough in the beginning just because of the commitment level in Branson. Branson, Missouri is a tourist town. We have a population of 10,000, but we'll get anywhere from 15 to 20 million tourists here a year.
Wow. Yeah, I
Yes.
believe
So
it.
like, yeah, it's just it was tough. So I did a lot of things a lot different than from Philadelphia and New Jersey. I moved out here to the sticks, the Ozarks, and it was a culture shock. It really, really was.
How do
And I
you
fought
I
for
get that question. How do you end up here?
that's it. My brother-in-law had a show out here. He did Elvis, and he's from New Jersey as well. He was in a show called Legends, and his show was in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And then he went on to a kind of a traveling deal because Legends is all across the country, the world. They wound up here in Branson, and they fell in love with it. My sister-in-law got pregnant, and that's where they figured they would raise a families here in Branson. So I was familiar with Branson. We would come out here to visit the kids. You know what I mean? At the time, me and my 3 children, they would come out here to visit my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, and Branson's a pretty neat town. It really is. I mean, a little boring for me, but that's okay. I'm older now. I kind of like the peacefulness. I
It-
kind of like the quietness. I do. I got kind of institutionalized where if I ever go back to Philly or Jersey, I look forward to coming back here.
I can only do the East Coast for like a weekend. Like
Yeah.
I can't even do the whole week. It's just a weekend. Just go there, what you need to get done, and come back.
So are you a Kansas City Chiefs fan
Well,
or no?
I'm not into football. I still don't understand it after 20 years. But I have been so long in Kansas that I do
Right.
have my Chief gear here and there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. They're doing good. I
I
mean,
love it. I went to Tennessee to watch one of their games and to see the love and the party and everything. I was like, it's just an amazing community wherever they are at. The Chiefs truly have like an amazing fan base where it's a
they're,
great community within themselves, you know.
yeah, they're
But I just
diehards.
love the environment too of Kansas. I was born in New York, raised in Puerto Rico,
Okay.
lived in Maryland for a little bit, and then came to Kansas. And I have been in Kansas for like the past 17, 18 years. And
Okay.
it's like everywhere else that I go, I'm like, no, let me get back to Kansas.
It's home.
Yep.
It's home for you. That's how I feel about Branson as well. It's home. I created a life here. I enjoy it. It's funny. I was talking to some friends, and they're like, "Okay, when the money starts rolling in heavily, do you think you'll stay here?" And I'm like, "Absolutely." I couldn't see myself going anywhere else because I'd just get myself in trouble. Even at the age of 55, sober, I'd still get in trouble. So here, I'm kind of contained. Like I said, I'm institutionalized, and I'm fine with that. I'll just have one of the nicest houses here in Branson, and it keeps me goal oriented. It keeps me focused. That's one thing about Branson. I'll say it's like I said, it is a boring town. Things don't really pop off here until mid March when spring break kind of hits for the college students and everything, and it goes heavy until the end of December. After Christmas, it kind of dies off, and again, it won't. You got about 2.5 months where it's really slow. Now, being in martial arts and having a school here, I've created a lot of good environment, a lot of how should I say, a lot of good students. So I stay somewhat busy all year around.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. I only went to Branson once for a girls trip, but it was just so quiet and
Quiet.
peaceful and a lot
Not,
of things to do like the like wax museum or
yeah.
wax
Yep.
something. We went there. We went to there was a couple of places where you can go and dress
Yeah.
yourself and
Yeah.
you're like they
Yep.
make you look like you're in a movie.
Absolutely.
I
Did you
have
did
never
you get
seen anything like that, so that was pretty cool for me.
did you get wrapped into doing a timeshare presentation at all?
No, I didn't.
I'm shocked. People don't realize that out here. There's a bunch of sharks. There are, and they can be brutal. I'm
But
actually wearing one of my students' hats right here, Diamond. It's a resort that's out here in Branson as well. But in Branson, they have, I think it's 33 timeshare resorts, and
oh
they're beautiful. They're
wow.
beautiful, but a lot of people, it's 50-50. 50% of people like them. The other 50% don't know how to use them, and they hate them. So, again, I used to own timeshare, so I enjoyed it. It was just at my age, looking how much I'm traveling to what I'm not doing, it just didn't make sense with the maintenance fees and things of that
Yeah.
nature. Yeah, so I was
Um
able to get rid of it.
let's get back to your mission. So tell us about your programs and online training.
I started the online training when COVID hit. I've been active in physical fitness and instructing people. Like I said, martial arts, 51 years, but instructing people in weight training, diet, and nutrition, I've been doing that for 37 years. So I was already ahead of the curve. So I came up with an idea when COVID hit to do an online based training system. So when people cannot go to gyms, they could stay at their house. All they would have to do is log on to the website. They have their password and whatever else, and they log on. And what I do is I customize their personalized workout routine, all depending on if they have weights, maybe they have, the bands, maybe they can only do calisthenics where it's just, push-ups, pull-ups, and dips. So I customize their own workout, but then I also do it for their diet, where I really go in depth, where I do a macro based diet. So I'm counting your proteins, your fats, and your carbs, and I'm telling you, you can only have a certain amount of calories per day. So we play with that for about 3 weeks to a month, and then I tweak it, all depending on their results. And everything that I have through my website, it's tracked. So I can see when you're working out, what diet you're putting in there, and I keep my clients accountable. I really do. I'm on them. I'm kind of. I tell people I train with compression, but I have a lot of compassion.
Oh, I like that.
So with that, and also I have a facility here in Branson where I have 10,000 square feet. I have weight training equipment here, and I have a group of about 20 individuals. My gym is invite only, so it's not open to the public. So
I
I
like
pick you.
that.
If I like you, you stay. If you're a bad apple, you got to go. That's it. One bad apple will spoil the bunch. And I have to admit, I've had to excuse a few people just because of not saying they were bad people. they just didn't fit in with the group. They made other individuals feel uncomfortable. You do get weirdos and things of that nature, especially for women. Women, I mean, a lot of women come in, they're self-conscious. They don't want to be stalked on or
Mm-hmm.
groped or looked at. I mean, and so I'm very, very particular on who comes here and trains. Which we have a great community. We do Zoom calls each week, so we have an accountability community group, and we help each other out. So if we see somebody slipping on one shape or form, we get to the root of the problem. I do a roll call. I wake up at 2:30 a.m. every day, every single day, Monday through Sunday, regardless if I go to bed at 9, 10, 11 o'clock, or even 12 midnight. I'm still up at 2:30 a.m. regardless. And I do a roll call where I'll put out roll call where they have to answer me back, and they have to let me know when they wake up. They know it's coming. They might hear the bing at night, the little sound. But a lot of people, they want to get to it right away because they want to try to keep up with me. So I'll get it at 3:30, and I get people to wake up earlier because if they're able to get the workout in earlier, then the rest of the day is theirs. Life gets in the way. I don't know, Francine, if you have children or not, but things always seem to happen in the afternoon, regardless if you want them to or not. There's going to be something that arises, a problem or a car issue or work, and then they're
Yep.
shot and they're worn out from work. All depending on what you do. You can have a physical job where you're physically exhausted or a mental job where you're mentally exhausted. They're both the same. You're exhausted. So you wake up fresh in the morning, knock out a good 45 minutes with me, and then it sets the pace for the rest of your day.
I love that. And accountability part, because a lot of people just give up just because they don't have that energy, that motivation to keep going. So I love all of that. So what would be your main goal for you and others?
Main goal is to be accountable. That's it. Be accountable for self. Honestly, I mean, the definition of a man itself is responsibility.
Mm,
We are responsible, regardless. I mean, I love women working and things of that nature, but at the same point in time, I feel as though as a man, you have to be responsible. Now, if the woman is the breadwinner, the man better be doing something. You better be watching those kids. You better be cleaning the house. You better be washing the car. I don't care. You have to be responsible. And I give you women all the credit in the world because again, I had three. I lost my oldest,
mm.
and we kind of switched places when we moved here. I'm blasted head to toe, Francie, with all tattoos. And I moved out here, the Bible Belt, back 14 years ago in 2009, and I was ostracized. You know what I mean? They're looking at me like, oh my God, it's Satan himself. And I'm like, but I think with me being in martial arts, I was a little more accepted after a while. But at first, I was a little, I was frowned upon. So at that time, my wife went out and worked, and we switched spots, and she left me with the kids. Well, that lasted about a day, and I was
It
like, "Yeah,
usually does.
I'll go out. I don't care. I'll shovel, poop for 10 hours. I don't care what it takes. I'm not doing what you do." And that was a shocker. And that I gave her all the credit in the world after that. I'm
Yep.
like, wow. And they were even a little older, So I can't imagine how women can juggle one, two, three kids. It's amazing. Tough job.
Yeah, especially when you have under five. Oh my goodness.
You have five.
Under five. But I
Oh
do
yeah.
have
Oh
like
yeah.
right now, I have bonus kids
Okay.
and they're amazing. I have one out of the house, two, 4, 5, 15-year old, a
Okay.
7-year old, and a 4-year old. So yeah,
Oh
the 7-year old and the 4-year old is all about Taylor Swift and craft. And we
yeah.
keep them happy.
That's good.
But
That's
it's a
good. That's
lot
awesome.
going on, and you have to have some structure and a good teamwork, because when the adults don't get along and don't do what they're supposed to do, the kids will feel it. That's for sure.
All the time. It's energy.
Yep.
It's energy, and I try to tell people that all the time. I like to stay in a higher frequency. I call it flow state. And if you look at the frequency chart itself, will tell you your emotions to get to a higher frequency. Because
Mm.
if you stay here, I call it the sensory world.
Yeah.
That's when your problems start to creep in and bills start piling up on you. And you got to try to get to that higher level all the time. And you pass that on. People feel that. People
Hmm.
know when you're coming into the room, if you have some negative energy coming off of you and it spreads. It happens all the time. We're all connected, regardless if you think so or not. Us as humans are all connected one way, shape, or form. And one of the highest is through vibration and your feelings. So
Hmm.
I try to stay, I try to have, I call it PMA all day, positive mental attitude all day.
I love that.
PMA all day. You have to have it. Got to be happy. It's a
Yeah.
choice that you have to make. You got that choice every morning to wake up either happy or miserable or in between. And as humans, inherently, we wake up negative. And I think our creator did that to us so we get things done. We accomplish things. Because honestly, if you woke up in life, hey, I'm happy and I don't have to work, I don't have to do this, and you just sit back and just waste your life away. So I jump into something positive right away. I tell people I roll out of bed, I hit the floor, I do 50 push-ups, and then I pray. They said, well, you should
Mm.
pray before anything. I said, I don't have enough oxygenation levels in my brain to function. I've been laying horizontal the whole night. So I gotta get the blood flowing. I gotta get the brain. I get oxygen to the brain. And then at least I'm praying with clarity instead of just going through the motions. And they say with the Arcadian clock, with your clarity levels and how much you're in tune with the universe, it's at 3:40 a.m. From 3:40 a.m. to 8 a.m. is when you're going to get the most clarity. And then it happens like I think it's like 2 hours later and then 11 hours after that. So I'm in tune with it all, Francie. Do you hear
I
me?
love it. And I
Okay.
wish I could say the same. I'm work in progress in that department.
That's okay. That's okay. It's never too late.
I use the post office as the excuse as to why I'm not a morning person.
That's a tough job.
For a
That's a
sweet person like me, I have like the greatest personality,
I
and
can
they're
see
just
that.
trying to ruin that for me.
How long you been doing it?
17 years, so I started
Uh,
when I
you,
was in middle school, you know.
if they haven't ruined you yet, you're not going to get ruined.
Thank you. It's been a long
Yeah.
progress till I paid $10,000 for my mental health, and now we're good.
I love it. I love and speaking of which, people don't realize that. I mean, when I get them on my programs, my cheapest program I have out there is my macros and mindset and macros. Where macros, a lot of people don't understand that jargon terminology, but that's your diet, okay? Because it's a macro
Yeah.
based diet. But first, I got to get your mind right because if your mind's not right, nothing's going to be right. You're not going to be in tune. Hey, listen, everybody has problems.
Hmm.
Even with me, with all the years of experience I have and a lot of things, I still have a coach. I still have a coach, and my coach isn't cheap. Like you just said, it's not cheap, but it's worth it. It's worth my sanity. It helps me when I'm feeling not balanced. And you have to have your mind right. Like literally, when we get off this podcast, then we have our Zoom call. It's 2 o'clock his time, 4 o'clock ours, and we have them every Saturday and Sunday. And it's probably about 500 of us. I mean, there's
Nice.
pages of it. I don't know how many you can fit on the Zoom. I mean, with my immediate group itself, I only have 25. But I know Wes has thousands of clients that he coaches, and he's got me right. He's got me right. So, like I said, even coaches need coaches.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Is there anything else that we forgot to mention about you or
Well,
your
like,
story?
that's like I said. I mean, it's a movie, Francie. It's a movie. I could draw it out to 20 hours. It was just a lot, but I would tell anybody at all if they're trying to better themselves. Again, you have to have your mind straight. You have your mind right, and you also have to get to know yourself. Solitude is huge, in my opinion. A lot of people are codependent. They could be codependent on their loved ones. You know what I mean? Their significant other, their friends. You gotta get codependent on you. Get to know yourself. And I mean, like I said, solitude. Now, obviously, if you have to work and things of that nature, great. You're going to have to get involved. But in other times, I was very fortunate at my gym. You know, I still train clients, but again, I stayed to myself and I got to know myself. And again, before you get to know others, you have to know yourself first and foremost. So, in my opinion, just solitude and going through your non-negotiable tasks each day. Everybody needs a plan. You need a plan. I
Mm-hmm.
wake up and I have a plan. I call
Yep.
it my blueprint, and I follow that. And literally, Francie, from 2:30 a.m. till about 6 p.m., I'm running hard. I'm running hard. I kind of hit that. I hit that wall at 6 p.m. I still make my phone calls and things of that nature. Afterwards, I'd rather not, but sometimes I have to call a client later on. So that keeps me up until sometimes 10, 11, 12 at night. But I don't think there's just enough time in the day.
I know. That's how
It,
I feel sometimes.
yeah, yeah, but like I said, yeah,
It's
you
being
gotta
intentional.
you gotta strive that you gotta strive to want more, to be more.
Yeah.
You know, I tell people, create the person you want to be, and then give that person away. Pass it on to others. Right now, in my stage of my life, I'm very selfless. I'm not selfish.
Mm.
So I'm here for my clients. I'm here for them. I'm not about the aesthetics anymore or being the big muscle man. My clients come first. I'm second, but my mind's right all the time.
And what are you grateful for?
Life, life, life. Just waking up every day. It's so precious. Like I said, I lost my oldest son,
Mm.
and he passed at the age of 26. He went missing at the age of 26. Um, but he taught me a lot about life, and I can speak with him with a smile on my face because he's a great kid. He's still my kid. He's still here. We still talk, so we still have a relationship. And for those people that are having problems like that itself, they can always reach out to me on my website. They can go on to strength-certified.com. So again, it's strength with an S, strengthcertified.com, and they can see all my information. They can look at me on YouTube. It's Strength Certified as well. And then on Facebook and Instagram, it's my name, Rick Koenig, Koenig.
Okay. I am so sorry for your loss. Sending you a hug. I have, people, and I just can't imagine, but it's good that you're still telling his story, and, you know,
Absolutely. You have he lives on. You know,
yes,
I could have self-destructed very easily and everybody would understand.
yes.
But when you're going through adversities and trials and tribulations in your life, are you somebody that runs to vices, or are you somebody that runs to personal growth? I
Mm.
left the alcohol, the drugs, anything that would have hurt me. No, that's no good. I go to personal growth. I study more. I train more. I help people out more. You give it away and it comes back. Whatever you give away is going to come back. If you're a bad person and you're trying to be negative, that's going to come back to you. Karma, I call it karma debt.
Yep.
You're going to have to pay off that debt, all depending on how bad that argument was, or how you made that other individual feel, or you hurt somebody physically. It's going to come back at you one way, shape, or form. You're going to have to pay that debt off. So I try to stay karma debt free.
Yep. I like that vibe. That's what I like to do too. But thank you so much for coming on the show and telling your stories. I really had a great time talking to you.
Francie, thank you. And we'll reconnect soon.
Yes, sir.
All
Well,
right.
thank you so much for listening to another episode of Life with Francy Podcast. You can find it in all major platforms as well as my YouTube channel. You know the drill. Help this girl out with some like and subscribe and tell others about the show. And you can find his information in the description of the episode. Hope you have a blessed day. Bye bye.